Morning all. On the latest episode of the Turn It Round the Corner podcast, we have a special guest with us, good friend of mine, Donny Barnard. So from Leyton Orient to Limousines. Donny, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, mate. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, good. So Donny and I have been friends for a while, played non-league together. Just want to go through his career and I'll dig into a little bit about just the application that a professional footballer requires. Donny might not appreciate me saying this, but he's probably one of the most talented players that I played with in non-league. But he'd also be one of the least bothered individuals that I played with as well. So one of the best stories that I can describe Donny is when we moved from Harlow to play together at Tilbury. We got called in at Christmas and we had to run, I think, a 12-minute run around the pitch or a 24-minute run around the pitch. It had been snowing and we couldn't go in until it was completed. And let's just say, Donny really rushed to get that run done. So, yeah, you good, mate?
Yeah, no, really good, mate. No, things are good.
So, Donny lives close to me now. Our kids go to school together. So, yeah, Don, talk me through your early career. So, you born in Forest Gate?
Yeah, Forest Gate. We lived actually around it, not too far from here, South Wooden Ferries.
Yeah.
So, brought up around here until I was 11.
Yeah.
And then moved to Romford.
Right.
Where I spent most of my childhood there until about 9 years ago when I moved back down here.
So where did you start playing your youth football?
I started playing for a local team around here. I can't remember the name, but it wasn't too long. I didn't start until I was about 8, and then I went to play for Southend.
Yeah.
So I was training Centre of Excellence there for twice a week with Peter Taylor at the time. He was the manager.
Yeah, still see him out and about here.
And then we moved to Romford, and my granddad was still driving me down there, but it was getting too much.
Yeah.
So that's when I stopped playing and just started playing Sunday League in Romford.
Yeah. Who was that with?
It was a team called Ferns.
Yeah.
And then went to a team called Comet.
Okay.
Which was
we had decent side. Yeah. Anyone in and about that team?
We had no one that made it famous, but then there was the manager there at the time. He used to get players from different teams and put a team together, and then we'll go and play against pro clubs,
like a showcase team.
So this is how he set one up together. We had Darren Prattley. He played in it. Sean Prattley.
He was a centre forward when he started, wasn't he?
Yeah, Sean Prattley played in there. Billy Edwards. Couple of good players at the time, but they never got to go to level. And we played a game against Orient. Ryan Jesse played for Orient at the time. And we absolutely spanked them about 7-1. And then they took on about 6 of us.
Yeah.
And I think it was about 14 that time. Yeah, so about 14. So we had to go in twice a week to Leyton.
Is that when you first? Was that the first club that had a sniff, or?
Yeah. And that was my dad. My dad had that mentality where just play Sunday League.
Yeah.
Enjoy your cup finals. Yeah. Enjoy everything, and then when it got to the age where they start taking people on, he said, "Yeah, go and do that."
I think there's a lot to be said for that anyway. So you went there at 14, so training in Leyton, where was that, Score Centre?
Yeah, it's changed now. There was an AstroTurf, probably about 5 minutes from the ground. We used to train there twice a week.
What, I farm, past the ground on the left, the council's just redone that, if that's the one.
Yeah. Right. You should come out of the station, it should be left that direction.
No. Leyton Station, you mean, or?
Yeah, Leyton Station.
No, so now they're using, like, the youth use I Farm, which is probably like past the fire station in Leyton up that way.
Right, okay. Well,
so twice a week?
It was there or Lee Valley.
Okay.
Which is now obviously where the Olympics is now.
Yeah.
So we used to do that, and then school holidays we used to come in. We used to come in and train all week with them. Yeah, that was it really. And then we had about the week leading up, we were there for a couple of years, and then we had about 2 months where they was giving out scholarships.
Yeah.
And then we had about 7 of us, and he sat us all down.
When was that? What sort of time in the year did you do that? Pre-Christmas?
No, it was after Christmas. I think it was a couple of months before.
Because Leyton Orient are notoriously known for leaving it late, and
I think it was like might be March, because I remember this happened. He sat us down and said there was about 8 of us, and said we can only offer, I think, about 3 of you scholarships.
Yeah.
So he said we're going to see how you all get on in the next couple of months. And I remember leading up to it, we had half term, so we was with them. We was training every day with them for a week, and I was at school. You know, you get those big, massive trampolines at school.
Yeah.
I was putting one away, and I smashed it on my toe, cracked my toe in half. My mum's like, "You got to tell Orient." I was like, "I can't tell him." I said, "I need to do well." So that week, I was just going through absolute pain. Like my foot was all bandaged up. Yeah, and then
who was that? Who was giving you that information? And was that youth team manager or academy director? Or
it was one of the youth team development managers called Peter Taylor.
Okay.
I don't think he's about anymore.
Not the Peter Taylor that we were talking about.
No, sorry, Peter Johnson.
Peter Johnson. Okay.
He was Peter Johnson. He done our centre of excellence for that 2 years, and then he sat a couple of us down and offered us a scholarship, which was over the moon. So yeah.
So you go into Orient as a first year YT. Who was in that youth team as the first and second year?
So the first year's probably the only one that you probably know is Glenn Morris, who's still playing now.
Where is he? Gillingham? He's
still at Gillingham now.
Yeah.
Chris Wild, remember him?
Yeah, big centre half. He's played for Enfield. Wildy, yeah.
Yeah, so it was me and him.
He was a bit wild and all, wasn't it?
He went in prison for a little while, scholarship.
Yeah.
He was a crazy.
He's a big boy, wasn't he?
Got a couple of stories for him. Kev Stevens. He's on big on social media now.
Yeah.
But then you had a year above. You have Aaron McLean.
Yeah.
Jabbo. I think who else in that year group that.
So was that Chris Dorian's year group?
No, Chris Dorian was a year above. Johnny Martin was a year above.
Yeah.
Simon Down was a year above. You had Ronnie Gould. He was that year above as well.
Brownie?
No, Brownie was Dorian's year as well.
Right, okay.
But Brownie had left by the time I started doing apprenticeship. He went Barnet.
Yeah, 50 grand, wasn't it?
Yeah. Is that how much it was?
I think it was.
I
Yeah. So was that into digs or living at home with mum and dad?
Living at home. We used to live in Romford, so
yeah.
There was a guy who was year above. He used to live around the corner from me, so I used to jump in with a lift with him.
You didn't just used to jump the trains and try and get more expense money, yeah.
No,
most people.
They used to. Do you know how much they used to give us a scholarship?
I remember I think it was 35 quid a week.
Yeah, £45 a week. And then they used to do the expenses as cheap as possible.
Yeah.
They used to find the cheapest route.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I used to jump in with my mate, and I used to give him some petrol money during the week. So
where were the first team training then, Don?
They were at Lee Valley as well. Everyone was at Lee Valley.
Yeah.
And the the scholars would train over in one section, and the pros. But that was the days where you had jobs to do. So
yeah, I was just about to say. So can you remember your jobs?
I remember his boots so clean.
Who's that?
Dean Smith's.
Yeah, proper player.
And mine was. I think mine was cleaning the balls.
Yeah.
Cleaning the balls.
After training in the shower, in the scrub. Yeah.
Make sure they're clean before. Make sure they're right. The pressure's right. The gauge is right.
Was you responsible for getting them in as well? Because that was always a bad one. If someone backed it in the bushes, you had to go and get it.
It was not just us. It was the whole youth team had to make sure the goals were out.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get that now.
No, as I say, I think it's a constant theme when I speak to people. I just think it gives you a grounding, not just for football, but like it gives you a work ethic that, you know, if you're playing in the lower leagues, at some point you're going to have to go out and do something else.
Yeah.
I think it gives you an ethic of working hard and just having a bit of care, and it was proper. I think
it was like the youth team days were the best days.
Yeah.
you had to clean the change rooms after the game.
Yeah.
You used to have a laugh with the lads.
Skips.
Everything. You just so much work, but it was just
But you got on with it, though. That's what you like.
You enjoy doing it.
Like we were talking about our kids before this podcast, and sometimes like I've tried to install in Bert about like how important it is to have clean boots.
Yeah.
And like, I won't name names, but I can remember Southend player, one of the YTs, I won't name him either, going and giving him his boots, or he got his boots out of the skit and they were dirty. They lost that game, and the next morning on the training ground, he more or less blamed the apprentice and hit him with a pair of boots, like a pair of studs across the head, like things like that.
Yeah,
it was discipline. All right, when you look back, some things you probably think it was probably a little bit too far, but a load of stuff, the discipline of it was just. I don't think there's the discipline in players full stop anymore, but it starts from young.
Yeah, I think our year was probably the last, probably a couple of years after that. Then they stopped doing it all.
Well, they stopped. First of all, they stopped the boots, didn't they? And then bit by bit, they wielded it out. Obviously, it worked my year. It might have been, I don't know whether it was at Barnet or at Orient, but I remember the boys saying that when Tommy Cunningham I've been made to do and heard some bad stories, but I don't know if that was with you at Orient, but Tommy Cunningham made them clean the minibus with like a Daily Star newspaper or something when they lost the game. But yeah, I think it was a laugh as well, wasn't it? Because everyone sort of like, you talk about team spirit, everyone sort of chipped in as well, didn't you? Yeah. Like if you, as you said, you were travelling in with your mate, if he hadn't finished his jobs and you wanted to get off, you'd go and help, wouldn't you? It was,
and then you used to have like first years for your second years.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a bit chirpy, and there used to be a thing in the change room. If like there was always competition between first years and pro year, and someone say that first years are harder than the second years, and every now and then if you're sitting in the change room and the lights go out, everyone used to start fighting with each other, and you turn the lights back on. You used to have bins there everywhere. It used to be so good, mate.
So I played a charity game in the summer, and we went and it was at Roots Hall. And when we come in, I said to Bert, I've had some bad times in there. And he'd be like, what do you mean? He was like, so when you lost, or sometimes first year, second year, sometimes, same thing, you'd go in the physio room, turn the lights out, and you had to more or less fight your way out.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just, as you say, it's good memories, but it's the kids now just look at kids, and they call it the wash bag generation, that they have kids now that haven't got to do anything. They're, probably heard me on my last podcast talking about under 23 football, but I think a lot of it does stem back. And I'm not saying you got to bring everything back, but even if they looked at it from another point of view, like maybe, I don't know, make the youth team players be assistant coach at the under 10s or whatever. Give them some responsibility where they're doing something other than just turn up to training for an hour and going home. Because really, in the youth team, as you know, you're not a footballer, are you? You ain't made it. No. You're trying to make it, and maybe in pretense you're a footballer, but you're not really, are you?
No.
And there's a big bad world outside that you've got to prepare for. So first year, how many apprentices did you have first year and second year? Did you have a few schoolboys as well?
Yeah, we had quite a lot of schoolboys. I think in total there was probably about 8 apprentices in the first year, and I think we had probably about eight in the year above as well.
Yeah.
But you had the third year apprentices as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Which was,
again, that's another thing they don't really do anymore.
They don't do it now.
No.
Yeah. So, when I first started, I started off really well. Pre-season, I was involved with the first team straight away.
As a 16-year-old?
Yeah, 16. They got me. The first game I was involved with was against Burnham Ramblers.
Right.
They got me involved, and I came on for about half hour, I think. I don't know who it was for. Someone must have been injured. Might have been Dorian or
Joseph.
Or mate Joseph must have been. One of them two were injured.
Yeah.
So they called me out, and then I played about 3 pre-season games. I done really well, and then I was on the bench against Ipswich.
Is this pre-season?
Pre-season under the lights,
right? And
someone got injured. It might have been Dorian or Joseph, whoever was right back. And I thought, right, I'm going on here. It's going to be. I think Darren Bent was playing for him at the time. I think Kieran Dyer might have been. I thought, oh, this is it. So I got the shirt and I was ready to go on. And then the manager at the time was Tommy Taylor.
Was it? Yeah.
He told me to sit down. I don't know whether he told me to sit down because he wanted to. I don't know why he told me to sit down, but he didn't.
Was you up and ready then?
I was up ready to go.
Right.
He told me to like warm up, get the kit on.
Right.
And something must have happened where he just said, no, I'm not going to bring him on. Maybe I was too young and it was too much of a big stage.
That is a big step, isn't it?
Yeah.
A 16-year-old.
And that's why I thought, when I spoke to my dad about it, he thought maybe he was trying to hold you back a little bit.
Yeah.
But you never know. Could have played, done well. You never know what could have happened then. But
so who was that? So in and around that first team squad, then I suppose first choice Matty Joseph, second choice Chris Dorian. Yeah,
that was the 1 and 2.
Right,
and then
left back Lockie
and Nicky Shorey.
Yeah.
Then you had Dave McGee.
Yeah. Scouser, Mad Scouser.
Mad Dog.
Yeah.
And Smudge.
Yeah.
And you had Simon Downer was there.
Yeah. Was Zakwani about then?
No,
later.
He's about 2 years younger than me.
Yeah.
So he was only about 14 when I broke through. He was nowhere to be seen. They had Carl Griffins up front.
Yeah.
Who else was up front? We had Richard Garcia, remember him?
Yeah.
Australian from West Ham.
Yeah.
He was mustard. He
was a good player.
Really good. Who else?
Yeah.
Harry. I think who else played? Johnny Martin. Yeah. He played.
Lovely bloke. Is he still in a black cab, John?
Yeah, I see him every now and then up there. Yeah. And then that was it. Then
that's a good grounding though, pre-season.
Didn't come on against then, and then that was it. I wasn't really involved for too much that season.
Are we talking first team or youth team?
First team.
So how did it go first year youth team? Because that can sometimes be a step up, right? Because obviously you go from playing your own age group, so you're playing under 15s, under 16s, and then obviously you're banded together under 18s. Yeah. Obviously you got first and second year YTs. So you've done all right in that first year?
For my age group, yeah.
Yeah.
I was mainly on the bench for when we went up a year.
Right.
Because they had a couple of decent right backs that they liked there. And they done really well. They got to the final up at Millennium Stadium.
Millennium
Stadium first year, and I was on the bench there, but never got on.
That was Chris Dorian's year, wasn't it? I remember him playing it.
No, they could still play in it. Dorian played in it, but he was third year.
Yeah, okay.
But they could. I think a couple of players from that age group could play. He played in Neil Goff.
Yeah, Neil Goff, another Arlo boy. Well.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, but no, the first year was okay. It was more the second year where it was the second year when Tommy Taylor got sacked, and I think Paul Brush became manager.
Yeah,
is when because he likes me, Paul Brush.
Right, was he involved, Paul Brush, before that? Or?
He was youth team. He was involved because Martin Ling was the youth team manager.
Yeah, and he went up to first team manager, right?
Well, Paul Brush went number 1.
Right,
and then I think Lingy was his assistant.
Right.
And they both liked me, so they both gave me a chance in the first team.
Right.
Tommy Taylor gave me my debut.
So So in that second year YT, then are you playing regularly for the youth team, or are you primarily in around the first team? I
was playing regularly for the youth team, and I remember my call-up was I remember doing the balls in the kit room, and Tommy Taylor come up to me and said, "You're with us today." That was on the Friday.
Yeah.
And then I travelled with him on the Saturday to Southend, and that's the first experience I had with the first team.
Did you play or come on?
Yeah, I came on. Dave McGee got sent off. Shock.
Is this at Southend?
Yeah, Roots Hill.
Yeah.
He got sent off. He got sent off about 70 minutes.
Yeah.
So it was 1-0 up, and then they brought me on. They brought me on at left back.
Yeah.
Just to see the game out.
Yeah.
Which was
So how old was you then, mate? 17.
17.
So your second year YT, 17.
17 there. So yeah.
So when in this season was that? What month we talking?
I can't remember what month. I don't think it was early on.
Off the back of that,
I think it might have been early on.
I have to have a look. But off the back of that, did you then become a regular in and around it? Obviously not. It's hard to be a regular straight away playing, but was you then? Would you say more in the squad for the first team rather than a youth team player?
So that week, obviously I was on the bench, and the following week we played Rushden and Diamonds.
Yeah.
And I started that game at right back. Matty Joseph played left back.
Yeah.
And I done really well there. I got man of the match that one. Done really well. And then we had to go Darlington away, and I got a run around, dragged me off at half time.
Did you?
And that's when the reality started hit really.
Yeah, but then it's like I think whatever level you first cut a game, you sort of float through, didn't you? And then especially I think as a young kid, there's always going to be a dip. So Darlington away, can you remember who you was playing against that day?
I don't think it was anyone.
No one stood out. Because they had a bit of obviously they've had their troubles and they went through. But for a while, they were paying some money, weren't they? Trying to have a go, got a new stadium, and then it all sort of fell apart. Was it at the old stadium or the new stadium?
Yeah, old one. Had a big beastie centre forward. I remember I think he just picked on me, mate.
Did he?
He was massive. They were
drifted out wide to the back stick.
Getting elbows in the back of the head and everything.
Yeah.
That's when I thought, God, wow, now you got to step up. So I was probably a little skinny 17-year-old, like really skinny.
Yeah, I see the pictures at your party. I couldn't believe it was. I thought they superimposed your head on someone's body, mate. How
skinny I was, and then gone downhill since.
So all jokes aside, you've had a game where probably it hasn't gone your way. Just for people that haven't been in the game, like what's that journey back like? What's the fallout from that? Did the manager see you? Did you ever then spell not playing? Were you told areas where you need to do better?
You know what,
jokes aside, that you're a skinny boy. They say you need to get in the gym. Like, what was the feedback off the back of that?
No, there was. He didn't really say too much after. Right. He didn't even sit me down, to be honest, and to say why he took me off. He just back training with the youth team again, and then.
Did you know yourself though when you come off?
Yeah, I knew you know when you have a good game and when you have a bad game, and I knew. Yeah. I knew I wasn't up to that standard that game.
Were they up there at the time, Darlington, or just?
I think they were. Right. I think it was a night game as well up in Darlington. I think
that's a long old way.
Yeah, I think it was just a bit too much for me that game. But now I think not too long after that, I think he got the sack after that. They both did. Right. Because I don't think we were doing too well then.
So the reality though, because again, I think back in the day, as much as older players were very firm and strong with you, they also most players looked out for the young boys and put you out. What did you get any of that? Did you get any advice? Matty Joseph?
Yeah, Matty Joseph was really good. Yeah, he was really good. Just probably him really. Yeah, he was good with me. Dean Smith was good with me as well. Yeah. Maybe because I cleaned his boots. No, he was good as gold.
But arm round the shoulder, or was it more Don? You need to do this when we.
There wasn't really
just a general pick me up.
I think when Paul Brush took over, he was more of a arm around the shoulder, and Martin Ling was involved as well.
Tommy Taylor was a bit more abrasive.
Yeah, him and Paul Clark, they were just ruthless people. Yeah. But when Paul Brush took over, he was more. You could sit and talk to him, and he would explain things more to you.
So you've come out of the team, you've gone back to the youth team. How did the rest of the season play out then?
It ended up. It was the same season I think it was the same season we ended up playing against Everton in the FA Cup. Yeah. But the game before was the Portsmouth game where we won 4-1. Yeah. And that's when I came on.
You come on for doors that day, did you?
I was on the bench that game, and we went 1-0 down, and I came on for Chris Dorian and done really well, and we won 4-1. And then I started the next game again against Carlisle. Again, got taken off at half time. must be play well one game, come off next game.
So you weren't. So was you in the squad for the Everton game then?
Yeah, I was on the bench.
Was you? Yeah. I can't remember that.
Never come on.
Funny story. Obviously playing football, you don't get to my boy never understands that. Obviously we're Orient fans, and I said to him yesterday, I've probably been to more games of football since I stopped playing and since I've had Bertie, because you got the time. Yeah. But all my mates were going to Everton for Liverpool for the weekend, I managed to make sure that I was suspended that day so I could go as one of my favourite ever away days. Like I know, like Gaz is my hero. Got to see him play, give us the run around. Big Kevin Campbell, bless him, like doing his bit. I always liked Kev Campbell because obviously he's loan spell Orient, like all mates away Enfield, and we didn't really. What was it? 4-1, 4-2. We didn't disgrace us.
We done all right first half.
Like, yeah, we did.
First half.
What was it? Was it 2-1 at half time? I can't remember. But so you was on the bench.
Yeah, I remember that's the first time I thought.
Did you come on?
No, I never come on. That was the first game when I thought, "Oh right,
Look at this.
I've made it now."
Yeah.
Because I remember we left the airport and we got police escort all the way to the ground.
Well, you flew up, did you?
No, we stayed in an hotel. Sorry, I didn't mean airport hotel. And then we had a police escort.
I didn't think Barry would be flying you up.
Police escort all the way to the and then we was at the ground and it just
proper old school ground, isn't it?
Fans everywhere. And I remember warming up and just looking in the crowd and the amount of people that I see that I know from like round our way, so many people. And it was such a great experience. Yeah, but obviously would have been better. Would have come on.
When I always think about things like this, and I've been speaking to people obviously the last month or so about football. Part of like in that celebration, obviously you're sitting there and you're thinking, you know, I've made it here. Like you see some unbelievable like international footballers. Is a part of you think like now you're older? Do you think I wish I'd have got on? But in the time, like we've all had that experience where you're sitting there on the bench and you're thinking, please don't put me on. Please don't put me on. Was you like that in that day? Because to be fair, a couple of goals, Gaz had just led us on a merry dance, didn't he?
At that stage, I think when I was a lot younger, I was a lot fearless. Like, I didn't care. I would that time when I come on against Portsmouth, there was like zero fear.
Because you done really well. What was the boy who played out wide for Portsmouth?
Courtney Pitt.
Courtney Pitt, that's it.
There was
the old Chelsea boy, wasn't it?
Like, there was zero fear there. I think the older I got, it's probably the more noise I heard on the outside. That I think I used to go into games more wanting to do well and instead of having that. But that Everton game, I remember, I was desperate to come on.
Who did come on? Did Johnny Martin?
I think Johnny Martin might have
started. I remember him for some reason.
Paul Brush. I remember him come down a coach.
Yeah.
Come down because I used to sit next to Billy Jones.
Yeah.
And he said to Billy Jones, "I'm sorry, I didn't get you on."
Yeah.
He didn't say that to me. I remember him coming up to the back of the coach and saying to him, "Sorry, I didn't get you on." But that was one game that I wish I would have gone. That was because Gaz was playing as well.
Mate, unbelievable.
Andy Harris got his shirt.
Did he?
Well, he asked for it the night before. I think Andy Harris, because he was captain at the time, Andy Harris.
Andy Harris, was he the boy that was he from South Africa or something?
No, that was Justin Miller.
Justin Miller. I thought Andy Harris.
Andy Harris was centre mid. He was like
long hair. Yeah.
He was captain at the time.
I liked it.
And
I thought he was South Africa.
I think he done an interview the night before.
Right.
And he asked Gaz for his shirt then. So he got it then.
Did you get one?
No, I didn't get one.
On that note, like, have you kept anything from your career?
Got my shirt up in my house.
Yeah.
The latest one, number 2.
Yeah.
Got that and the promotion medal.
Yeah.
That's up in my house.
Yeah.
But my boy wants to get my first shirt. Remember the Czech one?
Yeah.
He wants to get that framed.
One of my favorites. Have you still got it though?
My parents have.
Right.
Yeah, parents still got them. I think there's shirts floating about because he used to give shirts out to people.
Yeah.
But then when all the fans used to come on the end of the game, last game of the season, they used to always ask me for a shirt. Yeah. But I used to say I'm giving it to my mum.
So you've kept. You didn't get nothing. You didn't fancy asking Everton player.
No, so I think I was probably too shy still.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
Especially when you don't go on. You don't get on as well. Yeah. It would have been good to get one.
Especially then as well, where like now they have 3 shirts, don't they? One's a swap, one first half, one second half. Back then, you know, Orient, you probably had to have that shirt for the whole season, didn't you? Or you're paying 40 quid to the kit man.
You had 2 shirts, short sleeve, long sleeve.
So night out after the Everton game or not?
No, we didn't. Straight back on the coach, straight back home.
That's a bit of that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Get any money out of the chairman for that?
I think we had a good bonus, to be fair.
Right.
There was good bonuses, like FA Cup bonuses.
FA Cup bonus,
win bonuses. Yeah. That's where
That's
sort of
where
age,
you noticed the difference.
that's when I made my
Yeah.
money. I remember when I first got involved with the first team when I was in the youth team money,
Yeah,
and then we had a good month. So I was
yeah,
getting win bonus, appearance bonus,
yeah.
and yeah, it was a nice payout that
Yeah,
first month
yeah.
from £250 a month to I think I took home about £3.5 grand.
Yeah,
One
a good couple of Saturday nights out in Romford, yeah. Time and envy.
I went straight up Bond Street. I did a little spend up. I did.
So that second year then, when did you first hear about so you went back into the youth team? Did you get another sniff for the rest of the season?
I think the second year I was more around the first team than the.
And when in that second year was there a talk about you getting a pro?
There wasn't really a talk, but the newspapers, there was the Guardian.
Yeah.
I had an interview with the Guardian, and I mentioned something about, I'm not sure if they're going to offer me one, but in my head I knew.
Was that there with
I knew they were going to offer me one because I was doing well in the first team. I thought it was more of a hint to just say. I remember at training, Paul Brush read the paper.
Did he give you any stick for
that?
He
told me out. He went. He said something about.
What
the
FNL are you doing talking to the newspaper?
What's this about? I was like, well, I don't know if I'm getting a pro. And I think it wasn't too long after that. I think I sat down with him. And
on that note, then, and that line, did you have an agent?
No, I didn't have an agent. I had a couple of people sniffing around, come to my house and ask me, and I said, I didn't really want one.
No.
I didn't really want someone taking my wages.
So you've been quite careful then.
I've been looking now. Maybe I could have. Maybe things would have been a little bit different.
So what happened then? So you got to the end of the season and you had a pro in place. What did Orient offer?
It was halfway through the second year. They offered me 2.5 year contract.
Yeah.
They offered Bobby Barnes actually. He came and sat down with me and done the contract. Me and Glenn Morris went in there. We both signed 2.5 year contracts. Yeah, and that's when. Did
you think? I know, jokes aside with the press bit and that, but did you hear or know of any side sniffing about? Did you think you didn't?
No other club sniffing about. No.
What? Was you happy? Obviously, you was happy at Orient anyway.
Yeah, I was happy. I was playing.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I had I don't like to get a pro contract. I was really focused. Really.
Yeah.
I wanted that pro contract.
Yeah.
And I think after that, I needed that next step, next goal. I think my goal, obviously from young age, was to be a professional football player. I think then I needed to have that other next goal, which.
We'll dig into that then. Yeah. So, when you signed can you remember what year you signed your pro? 2001 was it? 2001 around there?
Yeah, around about 2000, probably 2001. Yeah.
So, you played about 150 games for the next about 6 seasons, was it?
Yeah, about 5-6 seasons. Yeah.
So, talk to me when you signed that pro, was Dorian and Matty Joseph still at the club?
Yeah, they both were still there.
Right.
No, sorry, I think Dorian was gone.
Gone.
Matty was still there.
Yeah.
But then once I got that pro, my aim was to be number one, to have that number 2 shirt.
Yeah. A good player, Matty Joseph.
Really good player. And then they brought Justin Miller in as well.
Yeah.
They brought him in on loan from Ipswich. And then signed him. So he was in my way as well. So quite a lot of the season it was kind of me and him at the right back. Who,
you and Matty Joseph?
Me and Matty Joseph, and then me and Justin Miller.
Yeah. Did Matty Joseph move on then in that season?
I think he retired then after that.
Did he? Did he go into the police?
I don't know.
I think he'd get in my all-time Orient team.
Yeah, I know. He picks him over me.
Yeah,
not happy about that.
No friends in football, they say. Remember. How did that first year go then? Did you say it went better than what you'd expected, or should you have kicked on a bit more?
What, first year pro?
Yeah.
Well, I had to see, because I had half, so I saw the rest of that season out.
Yeah.
Which I think I ended up playing quite a few times at the back of that season.
Yeah.
But we didn't really do that well. And then the first full year, I think, was in a relegation battle.
Right.
So I played quite a bit the first year. I think I might have played like about 30 times. I think the first pro my first pro season, but we was near the bottom.
Right.
Greg Hild and Wayne Purser.
Yeah.
I think we had a couple of boys over from Barnet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
they were both Barnet boys, weren't they?
Yeah, I think we struggled that year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was more the year after that's when I think I was number 2. I played a lot more that season. That wasn't. I don't think it was weren't the cup run.
Right. Are we talking the cup run, Arsenal cup run, or are we? No, that's
the cup run was the Fulham one.
When Jinky scored the winner.
Yeah, I think that was the same year we got promoted.
That was 06, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that
So like you've been in and out, you've played, you haven't played. Obviously you were there longer than your first 2.5 year contract. How did that come about, getting a new one? They
didn't offer me a new contract. I stayed there for up until my 2.5 years.
Right.
So I did obviously 2-year apprenticeship and then 2.5 years. I was there for 4.5 years.
Okay.
No,
I thought you was there a bit longer.
No, I didn't. I don't think I signed a new contract after that. Finished 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
But that was my last season.
So let's fast forward then to probably the last season obviously lives in the memory for a lot of Orient fans, going up the last day of season at Oxford.
Yeah.
So obviously you're part of the celebrations that day. You've got a tracksuit on, so you're not involved.
No, I was on the bench.
Was you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I ended up taking my shirt off at the end of the game.
Oh, maybe it was that then.
Running on the pitch with my shirt off for some reason.
Maybe it was Zakawani's got a tracksuit on.
Gabby played as well. Gabby started as well.
Maybe I was in Australia at the time, mate. I was listening to it on the radio.
That was a mad season. Though.
Yeah. So talk to me about that. As I say, a lot of Orient fans would say, one of their favourite days, obviously Oxford. They needed to win to stay up. But during that season, are you playing?
That season. I started the first 3 games, and we won the first 3 games.
Okay.
And then I started the 4th game. We played against, I think it was Rochdale.
Right.
And they had Grant Holt and Richard Lambert up front, and they gave us a run around. I think we lost like 4-1. I think they had Junior Gogo as well on the bench.
Okay.
And then I didn't start for the next probably quite a few games after that. So then I was like more in and out of the team that season. It wasn't. Yeah, I didn't really have probably like a 3-game run I'd probably have. Yeah,
and then back up.
Yeah, in and out.
And they would be playing in your place.
Either Justin Middle or Adam Tan.
Okay, yeah.
He was there that
from
year
Cambridge.
Well. Yeah.
Did you have a big throw? You had a long throw?
He might have done.
So that was the year of the cup run as well. Did you get any appearances in the cup?
I come on against Fulham.
Right.
2 minutes.
Did you?
Yeah, that was
nice win bonus.
That was a great day. That was.
Yeah.
That was. Yeah, as football goes, that was one of.
Yeah.
Turning over.
What was that? What round was that? Was that the 4th?
I think so. I think it was the 4th.
We've had. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, it would have been the 4th because that's when the Premier teams come in there.
Yeah. No, they come in the 3rd.
But that was such a great day. Jinky scored with the worst knee slide in the world.
Yeah.
Craig Easton, he scored as well.
Yeah, and then off the back of so who did you play in that cup run? So you'd have been in first round, can you remember?
First round. I can't remember who had the first round. But all I remember is from Fulham. Then the next round we had Charlton.
Yeah.
And we were 1-0 up? Or was it 1-0? I think it was 1-1. And it was about another thing, get changed on, you coming on.
Yeah.
Just about to come on, they scored.
Yeah.
So he didn't put.
Who did he bring on instead to chase the game?
I don't know who he brought on. Can't remember. We went 2-1 down and he brought someone else on. But there's another occasion where I was devastated I didn't get on.
The big round. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think what round that was. I thought it was further in than. I thought the Fulham game was further in, like 4th or 5th round, but maybe it weren't. But so we've got a cup run running at the same time as the league campaign. Did you always think you was in and around it, or
we were sniffing around the top? We never thought we'd get playoffs.
Yeah.
But each week we was playing, we seemed to grind out results.
Yeah.
We'll play against. We'll go Mansfield away, Macclesfield away. We'll get those 1-0 results. And when it got closer to the season, we were sniffing around there. We thought we could have a chance here. We had the worst, most pub team ever, but we had a good spirit.
Yeah, but like when I suppose Orient fans talk about that team, the likes of like the back four that you already spoke to, Mackie, Zakawani, those type of people, the centre forward you had, Alexander, and people like that. There's a lot of like seasoned professionals in that dressing room as well, isn't there?
The core of the team was very experienced. We had Michael Simpson as well.
Yeah,
he was old as well. John Mackie was unbelievable.
Yeah.
As captain goes, he's the best I've played under.
A lot of Orient boys say that, don't they?
He was different class. Speeches he used to do before the game.
Yeah.
Just saying I've never experienced before.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable. And then you had Lee Steele and Gary Alexander up front, and Jabbo was involved. But no, we had a good team, but take our tops off, mate, and we was a mess.
Yeah. But so going into that last game, so you needed a win to go up, wasn't it?
I think we needed to match. Was it Grimsby?
No, I always get this wrong, as I say, because I was in Brisbane at the time, listening on a little radio, following it on the BBC.
I think it might have been, because I think Grimsby played Northampton.
Yeah.
I think we needed to match their result.
I thought it was...
Or maybe we had to win.
Anyway, but Oxford needed to win to stay up.
Stay up. It was mad.
And I would say a couple of old boys that I know maybe liked a bit of trouble, that obviously at the end of the game it all... turned a bit sour, didn't it? So obviously you've won. They're on the attack, and it's broken down. Steele's gone up the other end and put in the net.
Yeah, well, I think the other result, Grimsby were winning.
They were
winning.
Or whoever it was. Yeah, I can't.
And you can see, because we got a video of the game.
Yeah,
and you can watch it, and you can see as we're on an attack, you can hear all the Orient fans cheering.
You can.
They've just found out the result of the other game.
Yeah.
And then we go on
it's literally like, as the ball goes through, there's like 4 Orient players. Ain't Zakawani one of them. There's like 4 players in a row, and the Oxford players must have gone down the tunnel already, and they've just sacked it off, haven't they?
That's it. And I think Lee still scored. He used to be Oxford as well.
Yeah.
So everyone just went mad. All the subs running on the pitch.
Yeah.
You see the video. If you watch it on YouTube, you see
everyone just bundles
we all just running.
So you was on the bench, but you didn't get on?
No, I never got on that one.
So... playing devil's advocate here, Don, as always. But so that season obviously is probably one of your favourites in your career, right? You've been promoted, as you say, you got the medal at home. But where did you stand that season around like your future? When did you? Was it like all discussions are off until we know what division we're in?
No, I still had. I must have signed another year contract, because I still had another year after that.
In League One?
Yeah, because I still played quite a few times in League One.
Right.
So I don't think anything was discussed then. It was more when I was down to my last year of the year.
All right. So I'll scrape it back then. Off the back of them, should we say, the league title, did you go anywhere as boys after that?
Well, we got the coach back to the Marriott.
Yeah.
And
Waltham Abbey.
Yeah, and a lot of the boys went separate ways. A lot went faces.
Yeah.
And I met my boys with Jason.
Yeah.
We out there in Romford.
Yeah.
Yeah, just can't remember too much.
What, Time and Envy?
Yeah, Time and Envy. Can't remember too much about it.
Yeah.
It was a special night, mate. I think
Jason Demetriou?
because he ran that way as well.
Right.
So we went out together, met my mates and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the next year, he paid for us to go Vegas.
Yeah.
So we done pre-season out in Vegas.
Yeah.
And then we had obviously nights out there as well, which was...
So hold on a minute. I've heard of the trip to Vegas, but when you say pre-season, you didn't actually do any football there, did you?
No, we done... So what it was basically...
We run along the strip in the morning?
No, it just went into a gym in there, just done a bit of running on the treadmill for about an hour,
Are you serious?
Yeah, bit of exercise, and then come out there.
And they've got it for 23 hours.
Then everyone just went out. Everyone got out, got home, got changed. And
Where did you stay when you went down?
Mandalay Bay we stayed.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's a bit further out, isn't it?
But then,
yeah,
near the end.
By the airport.
But then he took everyone out there, but there was a lot of boys that were under
21.
So they couldn't gamble, couldn't drink, couldn't go out.
That's Harry Kane, Tom Carroll. Was that them?
No,
that was after when he took it out.
That was after.
Who was young on that trip?
Jason, Dimitri, Aidan Palmer, Eric Duncan, Gabby. Might have been Gabby as well.
Right.
And Gabby must have
been.
So
was you sneaking them boys in? Because it's so strict.
Everyone's ID.
Yeah.
Even when you have a bet, you got to put your ID down. So they didn't enjoy it at all.
So they should have gone.
No. I just turned 21 as well.
I was going to say you probably got lucky there.
I just turned 21
because you're still getting ID'd now at this age when closer to.
So we got lucky that year, but Vegas was fantastic. It was
all paid or
all paid apart from you had to spending money, but
he
paid for everything else, flights, accommodation.
Decent.
Yeah, it was really good, and even Eddie Earn come out as well.
Did he?
But he was when he was quite.
Yeah,
low key. Then but now he can't get near the.
He was still loitering around faces in them days.
So
you've come back obviously in Division 1. So did they sign any other right backs, or it's still you and the others?
They signed Adam Chambers.
Right, yeah.
Which I think
he was more of a winger though, wasn't he?
Was winger, right back. But he could play similar positions to me.
Yeah.
I think that was the season where I kind of
knew the writings on the wall.
I had a kind of funny, and we also had Jason Dimitri who could play in nearly every position that I play as well.
Yeah, and he was younger.
He was younger, and that's when I kind of felt like, he could be coming to take my place. Yeah. Considering I was on my last year.
He was 21 at this age.
Yeah.
So that happens regularly at football, right? Happens at kids' football. There's always someone coming along to take your place. Did you think that happened to you at 21?
No, I didn't, but I knew he had talent, and I felt he because the reason why I was involved quite a lot as well was because I could play a lot of positions.
Yeah,
so I was on the bench most of the time because if anyone got injured, I could fill that role.
When you mean a lot of where, if you could, then where would you play? Right back, centre half, left back.
My main positions I played were right back and centre mid.
Yeah,
I think I had a good.
Don't tell me he's got a good engine. Because I played centre midfield for you.
When I was fit, mate, when Paul Rush was manager, I played about, I think David Hunt at the time. He used to play centre mid.
Yeah.
He must have got injured. So they gave me a run in centre mid for about 6 games. And this is when we was like near the relegation, so I was just a dog in there, just breaking things up, and I done really well. I've got a programme indoors.
Yeah.
And I've got I'm man of match about 4 times in there. I done really well in there, and then Huntley come back, and me and him played centre mid together against Boston.
Yeah.
And David Noble played for Boston.
Yeah.
And he gave us both a run around. And then they didn't play me in midfield after that.
Yeah,
I felt like I was always the scapegoat. First one to be taken off.
Was that an age thing?
I think it was an age, and I think I was never one to go and knock on the door.
Yeah. Do you regret that now?
Yeah, my old man used to always say, "Go and knock on the door." And I think where I was young, and I've never done that. I did it a couple of times, but just half-hearted.
I think that's definitely an age thing, because there's times Bertie coming through his academy journey, he said the odd thing, and I'm like, it doesn't have to be a rude thing, but you've got to go and ask a question, and sometimes of just why. Yeah. Even for you as a player or a person to know why or what, sometimes you just need to know, right? The not knowing, I think, can lead to like just going the other way and sacking it off a little bit and slacking it off. Yeah. And like as you said, you need something at the end of the rainbow to go after. Yeah. I think sometimes knocking on the door does that. So you kind of feel like the writing's on the wall. Did you sort of take it as I've got to give it everything I've got, or did you maybe go the other way? And
no, I thought I've got to knuckle down and give it a go, and then
because you're a League One footballer now, as well. You've gone up a level,
and I wasn't playing as much as I wanted to, and then then there was a sniff about that Darlington wanted me on loan.
Right.
So I sat down with Ling at the time and he said, yeah, they want you. So I went back and had a little think about it, and I decided to say no. And that could have been another thing that maybe I should have done that.
Can you remember why you said no?
I think because it was so far.
So far.
And I had my boy as well. I had my son as well, which obviously I wouldn't have.
Your boy had been born by then?
He was born by then. I wouldn't have seen much of him.
Right.
I think that kind of put a stop to it.
Do you regret that now?
Looking at it, you
sometimes
never know.
You never know, do you? It's like sliding door moments, isn't it?
I think there's a lot of things that I think I could have done different that year, or probably the last 2 years, that I think I could have been more professional. Definitely.
By professional, what do you mean not going out as much?
Yeah, definitely. I think that
it was a booze culture back then, right?
Booze culture. Romford had about 10 nightclubs.
Yeah.
My mates loved the nights out. I feel that if I could have been a lot more professional.
Looking at it from the other way of it, like, do you think on that note you could have gone to Northampton, you could have gone to Darlington and sort of knuckled down, being away from Romford and not going out on the lash?
100%. Looking back at it now, I think if I would have done that, it could have. I could have knuckled down, got on with my football.
What league were they in then? Div 2?
They were Div 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was in a new stadium as well.
Right.
It's a nice big stadium.
Yeah.
I think after they let me go, and that's when I sat back and thought I should have done that. But I had a good season at the end of the season.
In League One? In
League One. Yeah. Played quite a few times. I played left back quite a bit at the end of the season.
Who was that injured there? Was that Lockie still?
Joe Keefe was gone by then.
Right.
No, sorry, left wing I was playing.
Right. Left wing?
Yeah, left wing, because of Lockie.
Right.
Because Lockie used to bomb forward.
Yeah, he used
to sit in and do his job. I played left back against Millwall.
Yeah.
When we done them 5-2.
Yeah.
That's when I done my knee.
Right.
I chopped someone in the corner and he took me out. Done my knee, had to come off, and then I was out for about 3 months.
Right.
And that was near the end.
Near the end of the season.
Near the end of the season. And then I come back, and my next game was against Bradford, left wing. We had about 3 games left. I played left wing those 3 games and done quite well. And then after the Nottingham Forest game, that's when they pulled me in and said they're not going to give us a.
So it was right late.
Yeah, I think it was. I think there was 1 game left of the season. That was against Huddersfield, and he told me before that game that they won't be giving me a new contract.
And Huddersfield was that last game of the season.
Yeah.
Was there any other boys up that summer?
Yeah, John Mackey didn't renew. John Mackey's either. It was can't remember who else. Don't think there was many more. I think there's obviously John Mackey was the biggest shock.
I remember I've listened to John a few times at Orient things. I think he found that a bit of a shock. I think most Orient fans would say that was a big shock.
Big shock that was.
So you've been told before the end of the season, last game of the season, did you feature in the last game of the season?
No.
Or is that your time's done?
Yeah, I was done then. I remember because I came in and then I remember the drive home. I was really down and devastated. I remember called my old man, tell him, and he just said, "Look, now you got to knuckle down." And
so how old was you at this point, Don?
21 I was.
Right.
Yeah, 21 when I.
Did you think when you started out that it might, like, you'd get to that point by 21? It's quite young, isn't it?
I didn't.
Although you haven't always been first choice, you've always been in and around it.
That's what
since your YT days.
I always thought that the fact that I could play a number of positions would always be in my favour. But then hindsight, looking at it now, it probably not, because if you have one position, you can focus on that position, you can work hard in that position. And I just felt like me playing in a number of positions, I was always the easy option, just sit on the bench.
Yeah. They say that, don't they? Now they say, like, they used to like players, and I've played and been in management teams where you'd always have someone on the bench that could play 3 or 4. But now they kind of say if you're right back, just play right back.
Yeah.
And there's arguments for against, because again, going back to kids football, I know a lot of people like everyone playing in a load of positions. Yeah. But then I watched I've watched so many podcasts and listened to so many people that like, hold on a minute, this kid's played 3 years, say more as a kid, just playing right back, for instance. He's going to be a better right back than because he's just like, the 1,000 hour or whatever you want to call it. So, all right, you've been released. What was you thinking from then? Is it then? Obviously, you said you ain't got an agent. No. So who's doing the ringing around for you or putting your name about?
My old man was quite good at that. But then Andy Scott, that's when he went. He got the assistant job at Brentford. Yeah. So then that's when I got on the phone to him and said about going over there, and he said he can come and have a trial over there. Yeah. With who's the manager? Terry Butcher.
Right.
Yeah, Terry Butcher. So I did a pre-season over there, and it weren't that good. Terry Butcher weren't.
What league were Brentford at the time? Same league.
They were League Two. Yeah, they were League Two. There was a few who went over there. Lee Thorpe, he was over there.
Did Mackie go there?
Mackie ended up signing over to be Hayden, didn't he?
Right.
I think he had a few fans.
Right.
But no, it didn't work out over there.
Anywhere else?
And then went Dagenham Redbridge.
Yeah. Well, they were there in conference.
Yeah, they were conference. I was doing really well there, but I just didn't have the money.
Yeah.
Didn't have the money, and then I played a friendly, or might have been a reserve game, and then Steve Watts actually called me.
Yeah.
He called me up and said they want you over Grays, which Justin Edwards was the manager at the time. I went over there, had a chat with Justin.
What league were they in at the time?
They were conference. Yeah, they were conference. Stuart Ferguson was injured.
Yeah.
So they said, do you want to come over? So then I went over, they offered me decent money.
Yeah.
I signed the next day. I spent a couple of months there playing, but then the minute Ferg had come back, they weren't interested.
So was you playing centre midfield then?
Yeah, I was playing centre mid.
Who was right back there then at the time? Jamie Stewart?
Jamie Stewart was centre half.
Yeah.
It was a Jamie guy, but I can't remember his last name.
No, me neither.
Yeah, Jamie Stewart played centre half.
Yeah.
Just an animal name, man of Pete.
Absolute.
And then you could tell the reason they signed me was just to cover Fergus. The minute Fergus got back, he was straight in the team. And
so, was that non-contract terms, or you signed a contract to the end of the season? Or
I think I signed I think it was just a 3-month contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then once that was up, that was it. They said we're not going to keep you on anymore.
And then, so from now, you went to Hornchurch.
Yeah.
What league were Hornchurch in?
And they were the Ryman.
So at that point, like, obviously, just from a level perspective, are you still thinking, I need to get back in the league here? Or are you thinking, I've gone from League One to Ryman Premier a year? Not even a year.
Yeah. When I was at Hornchurch, I was still thinking,
there's a chance.
I might get that little bit of luck, or something might happen.
Was you doing things properly then, or would you say?
I kind of got to, when I got to that level, I wasn't as professional, or didn't take things seriously, because then you have to then also get a job as well, don't you?
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Was you working then, or was football money enough?
Football money was enough there for a little while.
Yeah.
And then I think
it's boredom as well, though, isn't it? Like it's different, I suppose. If you're playing for Grays in a conference, was it still Tuesday, Thursday?
No, it was full time Grays.
So your days are taken up, or at least you've got some structure around your days. It might only be 2 hours, but there's some structure. When you come out, I think, of full-time football, and you play what I'd call true part-time football on a Tuesday and Thursday, your money might be enough, but if you're not disciplined, or you don't have a side hustle, you're not doing something, I just think it just leads to, I don't think there's any good can come from just Tuesday, Thursday on good money, because I just think you get sloppy. You can still live to a certain lifestyle. You don't eat right. You can go out for a drink if you want. Like, unless I think you're a young boy that is really, truly focused on getting back in the league, I think it's always the start of the decline, isn't it?
That's what everyone said to me. You always, once you get to there, it's very hard to get back.
Yeah.
because you just get used to.
So what was you doing work-wise? Did you just start doing odds and sods?
Yeah, this odds and sods. My dad knew Glenn Templin, who owned a steel factory.
Right.
So I went to work there for a little while. I got quite involved in that. I was doing a bit of welding there. And then just playing part-time over at Hornchurch, which I was earning decent money.
Yeah,
I was getting good money from Hornchurch and good money from the steel factory. So, and I was doing fine.
Obviously, Hornchurch have always been a big, well-supported non-league club. Obviously, now they're back in the Conference South. Actually started the league quite well. What sort of good memories from there?
Yeah, no, it was good.
So you was there for a couple of years, weren't you?
Yeah, a few years. And
Colin McBride, who was manager? Colin
McBride and Jim
McFarlane.
McFarlane. Yeah, no, we had a good team. Some good players in that team. We done well. We had a nice little cup run there as well. We ended up playing Peterborough in the FA Cup.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
We should have got the draw. Yeah. And we let it go in the last minute.
Was that when Aaron McLean was playing for Peterborough? Yeah.
Aaron was up front.
I think I remember that. And the other
John Boyd.
Yeah, and what's his name? Who ended up playing for Scotland up front.
Macau Smith.
Macau Smith, yeah.
Yeah, they both them two up front. Yeah. We done really well against them. Yeah. It was 0-0, and then
because he was an handful, wasn't he? All arse and elbows and running. Macau Smith.
Macau Smith and Aaron.
Yeah.
When Aaron was at Orient, he was just no one thought he would do well as he done. He was so raw, and he was just slash it. We used to call him Slasher.
Yeah.
So he'd get in front of goal and he would just slash, and then he went to Grays.
Yeah.
And he just changed. He's just unbelievable. And
who was he playing up front with at Grays then? When you was in that
they
team?
Had a really good young team. They had Gary Hooper, I think, was there.
That's what
Gary Hooper, Michael Kitely.
Yeah.
He played there.
Jamie Slabber there coming to the end. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a really good young team there, and I think quite a lot of the boys.
That was at the old rec ground, by the flats.
Yeah, quite a lot of the boys went on to do well.
That was one of his first jobs, wasn't it, Justin Edinburgh?
Yeah.
Bless him.
They done really well.
So what happened? Like, obviously, you left Hornchurch, and how did that fall out?
No, because obviously they got rid of me because they reckoned that I went out a night before a game.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Of course you did.
But we went out on a Friday night.
Who caught you, Colin?
No one caught. Someone, because I mentioned it. I mentioned it on the back of the coach to a game once.
Yeah.
That I was out the night before. And it must have been about 3 weeks later.
Oh, nice. Someone stitched you up.
Yeah, it must have been about 3 weeks later. We played Carshalton away.
Yeah.
So travelled all the way up there. Jimmy pulled me. He said, I heard you was out that night.
What, 3 weeks?
Yeah, 3 weeks later. I went.
Don't tell me left you out the team.
I'm going to have to let you go. I went, when you've got me all the way up here
to
tell me this now. He went, I've only just found out on the coach. But I've still to this day don't know who grassed me up.
That's a poor show, that.
Yeah, one of the boys in the back of the coach grassed me up.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was devastated.
So where'd you go that night anyway? Was it a good one?
Yeah, come back straight back home, went straight out in Hornchurch.
Yeah.
And then
where had you been on the Friday, the supposed night?
We're now in Romford.
Oh, right.
But then we played Margate away the next day, and I was awesome.
Right.
That's what annoys me.
So I always thought non-league, like, obviously, you have to portray that you're good. But I always thought sometimes, if you went out, obviously I worked in the city at the time, if you went out on a Friday night, I sometimes used to think it'd sharpen your focus.
Yeah.
Because you know you'd been out.
Yeah.
So you'd get up, drink loads of water, you'd have a proper breakfast, you'd be on it, rather than like sometimes you'd just rock up, wouldn't you? It's any old game of football. Like, I just think sometimes, and as you say, if you play well, kind of don't see what the problem is. You know, it's part and parcel of non-league sometimes, isn't it? Give you a little warning, don't take the piss, whatever, and move on, right?
I've rarely ever done it on a Friday. That's probably done 2 occasions. I've probably done it, but that one you get caught
and then you really drop down.
Oh no, I stopped playing for a little while after that.
Yeah.
I weren't interested, and then probably about 3 months after.
Yeah.
Joe Keefe gave me a call.
Yeah.
Said, "Do you want to come play some games over
Tilbury?"
Tilbury. No, you in centre mid with me doing all my running.
Yeah, and then like obviously
we had quite a good team, though.
Yeah, we did have a good team, and obviously we had some good times at Harlow together. But looking at you as a player, Don, like always, you had so much quality on the ball. Looking back now, like I think, obviously you always look back and sometimes your judgment or your thinking can be clouded and a little bit rosier than what you think. But how do you feel like you played 150 odd, 130, 50 games for Orient, and then within 4 years or whatever, you're playing Ryman North, Ryman Prem.
Yeah.
Like, do you regret anything?
There's a lot
because obviously you've lived that kid's dream, right?
Yeah.
Like there's not there's not many kids that actually make it for like I always say to my son, you look at the actual stats of joining an academy, making it through your YT, making it into the first team, and actually playing a game. Minimal, right? Especially now, even then, like the more and more influx of, even then, you talk about the Orient team, we had a few Irish, played in the Irish leagues, a few Scottish players that played in the Scottish leagues, whatever. But I always felt that you had so much ability, but just, not that you couldn't be asked, but like, you weren't really bothered, were you? I think you always, like, and the teams we played together, you always earned quite good dough.
Yeah.
Like,
but that's because of where I've come from.
Yeah, but I always felt that. Like, how old was you when you stopped playing non-league football?
28.
Do you regret that or not?
At the time, no.
You didn't, did you?
No, I didn't.
But now,
I hadn't. Yeah, I would love to play football again.
Yeah,
I would love to. I would say that if things I would change, I would definitely change my attitude. I'd work a lot harder. I think that's one thing I regret is having that discipline and working a lot harder. I would, if I could, if I could do my football career again, I'd do it a lot different. I would do what I did to become a professional footballer. If I had that same attitude when I was professional, then I would have done a lot better. But
then on the other flip side of that, you played in an era where it was good fun, right?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
You loved your time, yeah?
Yeah. I always sit there and when I talk to my kids and tell them that
you played.
I played and but I do tell them that I would do things a lot different if I had to do it again.
But did you tell obviously you've got a boy that started in the academy system, right? And he come out. Did you portray that to him? Did he realise that, or?
Well, I told him that he needed to work hard. I gave him a lot of advice, but he got things unlucky with injuries. As well. He got injured quite a bit.
But do you think like I always feel like ability sort of will not take care of itself, but that's one path. But like I think the application and working hard, especially in football, I think even more now than ever, I don't think that you can't cheat it, can you?
There's players I know that have played a lot of football league games with a lot less ability than what I had. 100%. But they had that attitude, that drive, which I didn't have, which I wish I would have had.
Yeah.
If I had some people's mentality to want to get there.
So I think it comes in. I think like you go through stages because I felt like I was really committed maybe till I was like year 10, year 11. Yeah. And then it's on the sort of verge, and then like going out comes along, right? And you go out and you kind of abuse it for a long time, and then I think I don't think you can cheat that in football anymore. Yeah? You get away with it the odd time, right? But over a consistent time, like what you're saying and what happened, you can't cheat that it's going to catch up with you, right? But then, like, I realised I went to play abroad, and that sort of gave me my love for football back. And I think you go through peaks and troughs of not liking football, but I just feel like you had so much ability that it was a shame that that love sort of didn't come back a little bit, because I kind of feel like as I got older, I love football a lot more than I did in my mid-20s. When you look at it maybe as just a brown envelope to subsidise other stuff.
I think there was 2 occasions in non-league. I think when we done well at Harlow, where we had a really good team. I really enjoyed that season.
When we lost to the playoff final.
We had a great team then.
Yeah.
And also
it was a proper change room as well. Everyone had played high. Everyone got on. Everyone loved the night out.
Yeah, really good change room. And there was a season at Hornchurch as well, where we got to playoffs as well, which I had that love for the football, where I had that hunger for it. But I think all the other seasons, I think it was probably just playing to get the money.
Yeah.
And then it got to 28 when I just had enough. Yeah, I remember Chapo calling me and said about the pre-season dates, and I just said, I'm done. I'm hanging them up.
As I said, I'll always remember that day at Tilbury, mate. You trudging around the pitch, but you had so much ability. Yeah. You had so much ability. I would say you're one of the best players I've ever seen.
Thank you, mate.
Like, leave it in a channel from a fullback, get it out your feet, drop it in a channel, play it into the front man along the floor.
But Matty Joseph's still your number one.
Yeah, but it's just eras, isn't it?
Tilbury, I never played right back at Tilbury.
Nah.
And in Harlow, I never played midfield.
I wish you'd play right back, mate. Some of the running, like you used to stand there and spray it around, and I just used to run around like some kind of lunatic. But
we used to play 3 in midfield at Tilbury, didn't we?
I don't know.
Who else played in there with us? Manny played in there with us a little while. Hodgie played in there with us.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine playing in the midfield 3 with you,
we had a good team. We had a good team. We just couldn't run.
Jesus. And Jinky one side.
Jinky left wing.
Most technical person in the world that can't kick it further than 50 yards. But anyway, so what since coming out of football, obviously you've got a couple of boys. They play. Like, are you doing anything in the game at all? Or
no, nothing.
Obviously, you've always been an avid West Ham fan. You get over West Ham.
Last season we done quite a lot of away games.
Yeah. What, you and your boy? Or?
Yeah. Well, I've got a big car now.
Yeah.
So we normally get a few of us going up there. I drive up there. Normally take about 8 of us. The guy I know takes up there. He gets all the tickets for us. So have a good days out.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try and go a few more this year.
Yeah.
But my eldest boy, he stopped playing football now. He's 19 next week, so he's more about going out and just getting.
Do part of like what are you going through? I know obviously he got injured when he was at Ipswich as a kid, but does part of you want to say to him, like, you need to play while you can, or you just want to let him just make his own decisions?
Yeah, I think he wants to make his own. He's doing a carpentry apprenticeship at the moment, so he's not really got his mind on football at the moment. Yeah. I think he would love to do it.
Will he come back to it, do you think?
I think he would. Yeah. I think he would. He started off playing Sunday with his mates, and he really enjoyed it. But the standard wasn't that great.
No.
But no.
Yeah, but I think once the light goes out for whatever it is, I think, like, I've tried to get you playing vets, and like, don't get me wrong, my head falls off on a regular at vets just about how old I am or the standard or whatever. But I think, like, I just remember older people when I was young. Remember being in change rooms, and older people always said, like, play as long as you can, play as long as you can. And now I'm at that point. I feel like I love football more now than I ever do, because I know the light's going to go out soon, and like, I'll miss running around on a Saturday afternoon, or have to go to Lakeside or whatever it is. But yeah, I just think
I definitely need to get something back in me that I'm enjoying it of his playing football. I'm trying. One of the dads plays over goals.
Yeah.
He in the week, so I'm trying.
The walking football. Yeah.
Not walking. He plays 7-a-side over on a Monday.
Yeah.
I said to him the other day, I said, if you ever play a short, just give me a call. So I'm waiting for that call.
Yeah.
Because I definitely want to start getting back into it again. There used to be a few of us used to play.
Yeah, you used to play, didn't you?
We used to play over Romford one. We used to have quite a good team. Mark Gow used to play. Mark Janners. Yeah. We had a good little team over there.
He's a good player of yours, isn't he, Janners?
Yeah, Janners is good mate.
He was in your Hornchurch team,
that's how I got close to him.
Yeah.
And Mark Gow used to play.
Yeah.
His son's on the bench for Arsenal. So.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is that his boy?
Yeah, Jimmy Gower.
So someone spoke to me about him last couple of weeks ago. Orient played their under 23s in that Carabao Cup. I'm trying to think who it was. Anyway, I watched him in that game and good player. Oh no, that's who it was. Someone down here told me about him. Chris Summerby actually told me about him, who was on my podcast, episode 2 about the one-to-one coaching. He come through at Southend.
Yeah.
And he said, look out for this boy, he's playing for Arsenal tonight.
Yeah.
And it weren't until after, looking at him thinking of number 55, and it weren't until after I looked at the team sheet, it was him. And my Orient chat tonight, the radio chat, they said, he's on the bench tonight in the Champions League. When
we used to play five-a-side, Mark brought him over to play. He was only 17. He was unbelievable. His feet were just fantastic. And then you got the older lads that just want to kick crap out of him. Yeah,
I just remember Mark when we was younger. Obviously, he was a good mate of Youngies at Spurs. He always had ability. He had a weird career, Mark, didn't he? Because he'd come out of Spurs, went to Barnet, and then obviously had a couple of years lower league football. And then he got obviously great move to Swansea and had a sort of.
Well, he moved
as he got older, didn't he? He done really well.
Because most of his career was left wing, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So I used to have quite a few battles with him.
Right.
And then when he went to Swansea, he moved more into the middle, didn't he? And that's when he done really well.
Yeah, he played Andy. I done well down here, didn't he? He played for Southend.
Yeah, that's when we used to play against him.
Yeah,
he chopped me once. Went to cross with his left, dived in, and they stopped me.
So, who would you say, Don, over the years, best player you've ever played against?
Best player, Peter Gregory.
Yeah,
Mustard when he was at Scunthorpe.
Talking of chops, he loved the chop, didn't he?
The one player, there was one player that gave me an absolute run around.
Yeah.
Run around was David Nugent.
Yeah.
When he was at Bury.
What, the one who he played a couple of games? Didn't he?
Yeah. He obviously didn't know he was a young lad. He was just deceivingly quick. He was just.
He played on the wing, did he?
He'd play out front, but he'd hang out on the left.
Right.
And he just used to suck me in, and it was just gone. He gave me a run around. He probably the best. Yeah.
Yeah. Who was a player you enjoy playing against? Because obviously at that level, League 1, League 2, coming up against the same players season after season.
Obviously, Courtney Pitt played when he ended up going to Boston, played against him. But I was always, I think, that first game I played against him, I done really well. I was always, every time I come up against confident. Him, I was always.
Because he came out of Chelsea with a massive reputation, didn't he? Portsmouth. Was that when Graham Ricks was Portsmouth manager? He took quite a lot of Chelsea kids, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and I always done well against him. Gow, I always done well against.
Yeah. What would you prefer as a fullback? Now, obviously, you don't get many flying wingers. Would you prefer? I suppose you didn't, but you wouldn't want to fly, would you? Would you?
No, I used to prefer the quick wingers.
Did you?
You knew most of the time. I used to hate the ones that were right-footed playing left wing.
Yeah, I was just about to say, what about the ones that are going to stop inside?
Yeah, you rarely got that sort of. You get the odd one, but it's more now than back in the day. I used to hate them ones because you never know what they're coming in, they're coming out. Yeah.
What about? I say to my boy, don't really get it anymore. I think you touched on it in the episode. What about you get the big target mans that would always drift off to the back stick, try and prey on a littler fullback? Did that happen to you a lot? Because you're a solid. You've always been solid, but I wouldn't say you're massive. For obviously Matty Joseph, who was probably ahead of you, was even smaller.
Because I was small, I was really actually not too bad in the air.
Right.
I could hold my own in the air, and I normally done quite well. But they did used to hang out there.
Yeah.
First of all, I started off centre half.
Right.
And then when I went to Orient, they said you're too small.
Right.
I was at Norwich as a centre half.
Yeah.
And they went, "No, you're not going to make it. You're too small."
Did they?
And then that's when I went to Orient, they moved me out to right back. I was originally a centre half.
I think right back obviously suited your game.
Yeah.
Confident on the ball, didn't you? You get forward. Yeah. So what about then? Obviously, we've touched on it a little bit. Biggest, I suppose, greatest moment in football. Promotion.
Yeah, definitely that promotion season.
Yeah.
That was the biggest achievement.
Would you say outside of that, best one-off game? Would it be the Oxford game, or would it be that, or
me personally, game? Or the team? My best one-off occasion, obviously, the Portsmouth one.
Portsmouth.
The Portsmouth coming on half-time.
What was we down in that game? So that was FA Cup, wasn't it?
Yeah,
was it FA Cup?
We went 1-0 down at half-time.
Yeah.
And then they brought me on with 1-4-1.
Yeah.
But that was the first time where, because all the fans...
Was that at Fratton Park? Or
yeah, Fratton Park. Yeah. All the fans were buzzing. And I remember getting on the coach and everyone just coming up to me, saying how well I played. And that was the first time I probably sat there and thought, right, I've made it. I've made it now, where everyone's taking note of me.
Straight out to Romford?
I think it was only 17. I don't think I was allowed to get in. But then, that was the first time I thought, hold on, I've made it here.
Yeah. And your biggest regret?
I've got a lot of regrets. I don't think I've got one big regret. What, at Orient?
Yeah.
Just not fulfilling my...
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I could have done... I think I could have played a lot higher.
Do you think you would have benefited from having... I'm not saying like an agent, but would you have benefited from having like a mentor or someone?
I think...
Because sometimes, like, obviously, agents can be very bad. But where they always want to move people on.
Yeah.
You never know where you're going to end up in that pyramid, right? They could have got you a champ move. They could have got you, like, do you feel like you missed... Did at that time, obviously they were less frequent, but at that time, players in the dressing room at Orient, did they all have agents, or were they sorting their own deals out, or did a senior pro help out?
I think, a few of them had agents. Yeah, I look at it now and I feel like an agent probably would have made things different. Yeah. Probably would have been more noticed.
Yeah.
There's no point saying it now, is
there?
No. But yeah, I do look at it. There's quite a few things that I look back and think we should have done that different, should have done this different. But if you could change things now.
Yeah, like as you say, live and learn. There's a million things that maybe I'd do different.
And I think if I play football now, it would be a lot easier because you don't have as many nightclubs now.
No, there's none.
There's no nightclubs at all.
None.
So I don't think I'd be out as much.
We have this conversation all the time. Like, I'm a Harlow boy. Like, growing up, there's probably 7 or 10 places in Harlow. It was either a nightclub or a late bar. And now,
nothing.
Like kids socialise in the gym these days.
Yeah. Romford, we used to have about 6 places we can go to every day of the week. Now there's nothing.
Mate. Time and MVA. What about, like, do you wish you'd stayed in the game? Could you have seen yourself, like me personally, I couldn't have seen you coaching or being a manager, but part of me thinks on the other side of that, you really know the game and you're an intelligent bloke. Now,
where I've obviously been watching Aidan play, and I get quite involved, and they listen to me as well.
Are you coaching then?
No, I'm not coaching, but all the parents say they feel like I should get involved.
Yeah.
I think I would get involved, but it would have to be similar to how you have it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to deal with the parents.
No. I think, as I said, I think parents are the demise of kids football.
Yeah.
I think there's far too many whoppers about. But I definitely think if you get the chance, you should at least get involved, coach. I think kids, regardless of anything else, players that have been there and seen it and done it, just can pass on so much information.
Yeah.
Like I stood outside goals earlier waiting for Bert to come out, and do you know Jordan Brown? He's a couple of years younger than you, come through at West Ham, Barnet played. We were stood there just listening to 3 or 4 parents walking back to the car.
Yeah.
I think, like,
it's so true.
So many people have got not a clue about just basic stuff, and I just feel like, not telling you I suck eggs, but like I just feel like Aidan's team would benefit massively. Like, you don't want to do the admin, you don't want to pick the team, but just even stood on the sideline and telling people that stand here, do this, body shape there, but like, it is a big thing for kids.
Do you know what the problem is? I do that at the moment, and I need to stop doing it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm getting too involved.
Yeah.
But I've just naturally played. I've naturally always been a talker.
Yeah.
I'm naturally just doing it on the sideline, and like sometimes I get carried away, and the missus says, "Look, you have to calm down." And the other day, I reffed the game the other day, I pretty much talked the whole way
Yeah,
through.
but I like that. Like when Bert was Orient, I like the fact that some refs were saying to kids, when that comes, you need to do. Like, I don't see anything wrong with that. Like you're trying to help the kids, but I think you getting involved on the sideline and helping kids is different to like someone shouting out Johnny's name 24 times, and like at least you're trying to help the kids. And I think it's very hard. Like me being the same, very vocal, very involved. Like I would openly at Orient game stand up on my own in the corner.
Yeah, I still.
So I weren't shouting, but when Bert come over, it was like, Bert, you need to open your body up, or that kid's quick, you need to step. Like just little pointers.
Yeah.
Because I also think it's become very fashionable to not say nothing.
Yeah.
And like you see it in academy football, you see the opposites of the screamers and the shouters, the coaches, to some that say nothing. And I'm thinking, kids at 11 years old, they still need help. Like you see pros now that need help. Like 11-year-old kid needs a bit of help. And I feel like if you maybe just step from this side watching to the other side and done it more in an official capacity, I think the kids would benefit from it massively.
When he first started at that team, the two coaches that took over, they don't really know too much football. The dads that volunteered, but so I think I gave my point of view quite often. I think it's just got now the kids do, like if I tell them something, they'll listen to me. They listen to me more than I think they listen to the coaches.
And that's hard in England, right? Because as I say, there's always that. It's normally the coach that is either pushed into it or puts his hand up. It's not so much like it is a brawl. Sometimes coaches are getting paid, or it's by you've got to have a certain thing. So I definitely think that they would sort of help and enjoy you in a sort of an official capacity, and then to just finish off, mate. What do you do now? So
I'm a chauffeur now. I work for a company up in London. I do quite a lot of film work and so I'm
get any footballers in the car?
Not really, no. I've had a few, obviously, previous footballers like Ashley Cole's in there. A few other ones. Anthony Joshua I've had in there. But the biggest one was Pamela Anderson. I had her for a couple of days. Katie Price. Absolute helmet she was. Had to take her up to Leeds, her and Harvey. Journey and a half that one.
I'm not going to ask any questions about that, mate. This is a football podcast. But listen, Dom, mate, you know how much I think of you. I think you're a top lad, but also you're a top player. I know you're held in high regard over the Orient. Do you ever go over Orient?
Did a couple of years ago. But not been back there since. Want to go back over there? I definitely want to go back over there.
Get yourself over there. I'll get you some tickets, and as I say, I think you were held in high regard. I think one thing they do Orient is they get the kids through and they get them in the first team, and they do think the world of them. You look at the first team now. You've got Sweeney, you've got Dan Happ. They're always held in real high regard. So, mate, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
As I say, one of the naturally gifted players that I played with, probably also one of the laziest, but biggest calf I've ever played with. But no, mate, I really appreciate on a weeknight you giving up your time, and thanks.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me on, mate.
And if in doubt, turn it around the corner.